Hi there.
Tell us baby cat in 5 words.
I'll say we had in 5 words.
Where's your face? Is your speed down?
Let me put it on.
Okay,
There,
describe baby cat in 5 words or less.
5 words or less. Uh, Girl meets girl, chaos ensues.
Okay, describe it in 3 words or less.
Girl meets cat.
Okay. 2 words or less.
2 words or less. Girl,
Oh, what description?
sex.
Did you make that movie?
I did make that movie.
Oh, how was
I wrote,
it?
directly edited, and also purchased the hamburger for it.
How was it? Love
Uh,
to see that. Love to see it in a theater. Like a lot of times that we lose track of like that the screen used to be our intimate partner, but because now the world has become less and less social. Um, that
yeah.
we lose the intimacy of some of that, right? Am I
Yeah, you're
correct?
right.
Yeah, that
You're
is
right.
true. There was a movie, there was a screening of the movie in Austin a couple weeks ago, and
I
I
didn't know.
didn't get to make it, and I regret that. I really wish I could have done it. Like it would not have been impossible to go to Texas to do that.
Well, it's good to see how your work is because film is so different that you obviously make you make this script, you shoot the film, you edit it, then it comes out. Now you're waiting like 9 months, whereas like and you've worked on it for 9 months, let's say. Well, in our case, we work on movies a lot shorter. But my
About
point is
four,
that
I guess.
but my point is that you get to it's theater, you get to see an immediate reaction, like
Yeah.
play you see
Yeah,
immediate.
you're right.
So going to see a movie in a theater with a crowd is pretty it's quite an experience. I mean, I must say it's nerve-wracking the first couple of times, but it's fulfilling. And now I never thought it'd be a rarity today to have a movie screened in a theater, but it is a rarity, and
Hmm.
it might not be run for much longer. So, I
Well,
mean,
I have the opinion that if TV was going to kill the movies, it would have done so a long time ago. Like you could say the same thing about streaming as you could say about TV, in the 40s or the 50s even. Like, oh, this new technology. There's a reason theaters exist. They're a
well, I
good,
mean, listen. It's not going to annihilate anything, but it
yeah.
will. It will create havoc. For example, sound did create havoc on silent movies, which were
Oh
technically
yeah.
never silent. Because there'd be a pianist there, there'd be an
Oh
orchestra,
yeah, yeah.
right? But I'm saying sound on film did create havoc. It obliterated the silent film industry.
Hmm.
Television then almost obliterated the movie industry, and that's why they made CinemaScope anamorphic movies to get
Yeah,
people
yeah.
back. They could say, "Hey, this is like 30 times your TV," and TVs were
Right.
small, right? So this is like 50 times your TV size.
Yeah.
Come,
Yeah.
So, and we have 3D now. We have 3D. So, but these days, I encourage you. So, like, yeah, I mean,
I remember taking my nephews to see a movie a couple months ago, and that was really just magical, just seeing a movie with just a very young kid. Like going to Migration, which was a very bad, which is not a bad, it's an okay CG animated cartoon, but
right.
just seeing movies of kids, like seeing movies of families is really thing. Like I
I
would,
think, I think anything projected
yeah,
in a darkened room with a fellow person, with a member
yeah,
of the same species is something.
yeah, definitely.
You're right. Yeah.
I remember the
Uh,
couple of times I went to movies here, it was just by myself. Literally, I was the only person in the theater, and that's a very weird experience. Ever had that? Ever had that before?
No, but I've been in sparsely populated theaters and I've been alone a lot. Like I probably saw most of the Ingmar Bergman's movies alone in repertory, like at the New Beverly or LACMA. I saw all that jazz alone.
Yeah,
So Cassavetes, I watched it alone. Yeah, I mean, but there's still a crowd there. You can hear people
yeah, yeah,
laughing, sniffling,
yeah,
and there are a lot of single females in these movies. Interesting, like as in the audience. Um,
yeah. I mean,
but
that's something I don't think you always realize for our movies. I suspect if you were to break down all of our movies, women are 50% of them are very, very close. Like I think women are more of our audience than you might think. That's definitely true.
Yeah, but I was also I was also pointing to the fact that you're not so I don't think they're quantitatively relative to each other, but what
Yeah.
my point was that I was noticing these single females going to movies,
Yeah.
and but the proportion to women or female writers and directors emerging,
Mm.
I'm not seeing that proportionally. Are you? I'm not
I'm seeing
seeing it.
I different. I'm on a lot of different film sets, and I do see maybe more is the wrong, but definitely seeing quite a few. I'm definitely women
Yeah.
are peaking. They're I mean, compared to like in the 80s and 90s when there's nothing, anything is more. But
Well, but also you're not even seeing the alliances that like Scorsese had with Thelma Schoonmaker, who cut what a dozen of his movies, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
Marsha Lucas was very instrumental
oh
in
yeah,
getting in Star Wars, for example, the first, I mean, all three Star Wars, and Sally Menke with Tarantino. You're not seeing a lot of those those kind of creative partnerships. And I realized that they were editors, but they really shaped those
oh
movies
yeah.
because filmmakers tend to be sloppy and disorganized, and they were uh, they were able to help and extract, you know,
Hmm.
what's there. But you're not seeing too much, and I wish more people would go to movies. Like I mean, well, like I'm going to support it, and it's mainstream, and it doesn't need my support. But like, what they're doing the 50th anniversary of Jaws tonight, right? So
Oh
Mm.
yeah.
yeah, and in 4K, like, do you really need this in 4K? Can't we see the grain of the nice 35 millimeter fast speed stock? I'd like to see the grain. Does it really? And this is funny. The last time I saw it in a theater, it was showing in 3D. I didn't have a choice. It was either 3D or IMAX for Jaws. Like, do I need either of them? And the Jaws 3D wasn't real 3D. It was like because the movie wasn't shot 3D. So it's like those pop-up books where you pull the thing
Yeah.
on the side and you flip it and the giraffe pops its head up and then behind it is a hippo. It looked like that. It wasn't so much like it would look like you were watching a diorama that was dimensional.
Well,
As if
I guess that kind of goes to something I think about Jaws a lot, which is Jaws is a masterfully crafted movie. It's
yeah.
also in some ways a little bit of a sloppy movie.
Hmm.
Like what's actually on the screen and some of the edits are just kind of like sloppy. I mean, you do definitely when you see Amityville, it's a shaggy looking town. Like there are people walking around, the extras aren't that pretty. Like lighting,
Don't say that to them. They got they,
the
that,
lighting. It's not going to win awards for lighting, best lighting. By modern standards, it's not going to win awards for best lighting.
it was actually shot in Martha's Vineyard, and
Yeah, I know. So same thing.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah, and then I think by the time they left, the residents were so happy. They welcomed them, and then they didn't realize they're going to be there for like 16 weeks because it got delayed because of the shark. And
yeah.
yeah, so the residents were like, "Thank you for going now." um,
But it's
but
kind of a slop. But there's a certain sloppiness which you would like to see in, like I said, see the grain, so to speak.
well, I don't know who edited that movie, but it was a good editor.
Yeah,
Don't forget, Spielberg used a lot of the television crew that he worked at
yeah,
Universal, like Night Gallery, and Duel. So you use a lot of that crew, and like TV crews, even then, were run and gun, so to speak. I
yeah.
mean, you're getting one third of a budget of a feature film, or a quarter of a budget, right? Unless it was Columbo, but yeah, I mean,
Even Columbo is pretty cheap looking.
yeah. Well, it was
Even
all done.
like
It
it's
was
not
all.
an yeah,
Yeah,
they got him, but
no,
not
no,
much
yeah,
else.
well,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. But my feeling is okay, put it in 4K, put it in 3D. At least people are going to see a 50-year-old movie. I mean, that's fantastic.
yeah.
Jaws, at least they're going to go see that. And I mean, but they're bringing out the usual ones like Sunset Boulevard, of course, is going to be showing again Sound of Music. It's getting to that time period. So, but it's
But
nice that
that's kind of the thing about movies these days. Once you get past like 10 years ago, the studios really want to reduce it to like five all-time classics. Like
right.
I remember going to Universal Studios Hollywood and they have a list of all the movies they have a row of, oh, in 1941 we made this movie, in 1939 we made this movie. And like they're all like Dracula, Wolfman, Frankenstein, They make
Yeah.
a lot more movies than that. Like there's like there's thousands of movies there, and they studios studios tend to treat this like they only care about five of them. Like when Disney bought Fox, a couple of years ago, Fox has produced hundreds and I thought probably 1,000 movies over the years. A lot of westerns, a lot of dramas,
More than 1,000, I think, in
probably
their
more than a
library.
thousand, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I unless it's Star Wars, you really can't see them.
Yeah, I mean, it's different divisions. A lot of people like, first of all, there's no money in the business, and so they're hiring young people that don't know the history of movies, and so they're going back to Universal and they're saying, "Hey, what's the Murders in the Rue Morgue? I don't know what that is. Who's Bela Lugosi?" I mean, I think they're literally doing that, and they're saying, we don't need to put that one out. Let's put out Duel because it's Spielberg.
Yeah,
Let's put out. So I mean, but that totally makes sense from a cost point of view. But at least Universal's not in the movie business; they're in the theme park business. That theme
yeah,
park make. I mean, do you know how much they make in terms of billions of dollars? I mean, they're in.
Oh,
That's the saving grace of Disney and Universal. That's why Fox went under. They don't have a theme park, and Paramount's got the cable networks, and they have the cable. I mean, whoever owns the cords. You
we
know,
should make a Cinema Epoch theme park.
Well, I got a
interesting.
I got a little backyard where we can start with the putt putt course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
I don't know. We don't really talk about movies here. We just talk about life or whatever. We just open it up and we just chat. So you chat whatever you want to talk about. I mean, I don't know. I published. I think I sent it to you the dissertation paper on the psychological effects on watching movies projected digitally versus watching movies projected on film. I'll show it to you. It got published this week. I'll
Oh,
make it for.
I do not remember that.
I'll send it to you. It's I think it's only about a dozen pages or so.
Okay,
But
I'll take a read of that.
my hypothesis is correct. It's better to watch movies projected on film than digital because digital you'll go insane, you'll get stressed out, you'll go manic. Whereas on film, the light bulb emits more melatonin and circadian rhythms. See, so that's what my
Ah,
paper shows it convincingly. So you must read this
Oh,
paper, everybody who's listening. I'll put it in the link on the comments. My dissertation paper. I'm
nice.
proud of it, and it even
good idea.
goes into 3D a little bit, 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, yeah.
What about seeing the 60? What about 60 seeing about 60 frames a second? That'll drive you. Will that drive you crazy or that?
You're asking me personally, or
Yeah,
do I
about
think it's
60 frames a second. How does
well,
that affect the brain?
we're already watching football games at 60 frames a second. I
Yeah,
mean, I mean, The Hobbit. I mean, in terms of filmic form, you can do anything you want because it's digital. In the days when they were trying to do 60 on 35, like Brainstorm was going to be remember the movie Brainstorm with Natalie Wood and Christopher
yeah,
Walken? That was going to be one of the first movies in where the dream sequences were in 60. So the screen would open up at 60 frames a second. It's called Show Scan, and they tested it for theme parks and it was very popular. It gave live, but I don't know. Like, see, here's my point that I posit to you. I don't know how you make movies. Why would you want to make a movie look more live when you go to a movie to escape? So why do you want to like feel like you're like it's live, like a live event? Like if you want to do something immersive, like say you want to belong in The Hobbit, it takes more than 60 frames. Like, you know what I mean, to be immersive.
I know. Occasionally, I have watched a couple of. I don't. I have watched a couple of movies with motion smoothing on, and the thing that always strikes me about them is you do get, especially if you really have a really open up, if you really close down a bit or really open up, you really do get a sense of the size of the space, which can be a good thing or a bad thing because you just really see, especially in movies that are obviously built on sound stages. Boy, do they obviously look on sound stages.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, that's exactly my point, and that's why I'm against sort of this revisionism with the way we watch movies, because now
yeah,
new audiences are saying, "Hey, episode four looks terrible. The effects are awful," because they're not given a context of first of all, they're not given a context of how the movie was made, when it was made,
yeah,
when that didn't even exist. Okay,
yeah.
that type of photography and model work. Uh, um, so they're not being educated on that. And secondly, the 4K is revealing all the deficiencies they were trying to hide. when they were making that stuff on film. So
I
you're
don't know
so you're seeing, obviously it's a matte painting in the background. You're seeing it's greened out. It's
Yeah.
blue keyed. So why do that? Just take a 35 millimeter print of episode 4, show it that way. That's the way we saw it. It was on fast Eastman stock, so it was a little faded. It was a little pinkish at times. Doesn't need to look like this. But
Well, true, but I will say this.
tell that to Lucas, because Lucas says, yeah, he wasn't ready to make it, and that's why he waited to 20 years for number one, or 14 years for episode 1. Yeah,
Yeah, I do, but at the same
20 years,
time,
20 years.
if we
Yeah.
were shooting movies in 35 millimeter right now for Cinema Epoch, we would be, and having to go to theaters everywhere, we would be in a very hard time, I guess.
Well, there's a
that.
difference. I mean, because people still shoot 35. Christopher Nolan does. Tarantino shoots 35, and but then they're edited in digital and released
Yeah, it's
digitally,
like,
right? And Tarantino gets his 70 print now and then. Yeah, yeah. Look, listen, I come from that world. If you listen, I think in my last podcast, I talked about the troubles of that, of carrying the cans. Each can is 60 pounds.
oh yeah,
And they come into, a movie would come into 2 cans, right? 2 cans holding 1 hour each, but like 1 hour wouldn't show up the day of the movie. And the manager's calling me like, "We're
yeah,
sold 10." You'd be like, "Oh, don't worry, we only sold 5 tickets." I says, "Yeah, but come on." And like, half the print went to Hawaii, so they only had half the movie. So that's the worst case scenario. Then the second worst case scenario, some idiot projectionist was rushed to send the movie to another, because we would never check the prints because we didn't have
yeah,
the power. So let's say it was shown in Chicago, then Chicago would ship the print to San Francisco,
yeah.
and then they'd send it to Minneapolis without everybody checking it. And so like somewhere along, these projectionists would change the labels, or they didn't put labels on, and then you had to guess, was this the ending of the movie? How do you put it together? Yeah, like, because you had to splice. People, like, I mean, but if you go to, if to show 35 millimeter in those days, it was a huge reel. They had to build it. They take the 6 reels and they build them into one huge reel. That's
I've worked
uh
at 35 millimeter a couple of times in my life,
yeah. So
and
it's
it's
clunky.
neat, but it's also very expensive, very time consuming, and sometimes here's the thing I think sometimes of digital cameras. Digital cameras do a very good job, I think, of duplicating what 35 millimeter actually looks like. I think what people want is what they think it looks like. If you like, when I see a lot of like movies that are trying to have a filmic look, what they look like is that movie was stored badly for 5 years in a hot room.
No, I mean, but that's the hypocrisy, or the irony, is that they're basically shooting digital to make it look like film. No, I get
Yeah,
it, because if you shoot film, there's plenty of middlemen. You have to have the laboratory process it.
yeah,
They do your work print, you transfer it, you edit it, you go back. One of the days you had to go back to the negative cutter, they cut your negative. Now it's just all digital, but still there's
yeah,
a process, of course, and
yeah,
and it costs. Oh, it costs about $1,000 for every 10 minutes you're shooting. So
yeah.
that's just for the film stock. What is it? Yeah. So anywhere from there, yeah. I mean, your process. Yeah, it's all a post kind of thing. Yeah.
And
But
then when people start duplicating it, what they really want, I think, is to a certain extent, is to make film look bad. Because if you were to look at a film, I remember if you look at a film that looks badly, that's been stored badly, it has a certain look to it.
yeah.
And I think to a certain extent, that's the look they really want. Like they
Right, right,
want it,
right, right, right. So that, like, in other words, if you were in 1970, the film doesn't look like that. It looks like that
yeah,
because it was stored. But I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, exactly. And sort of Tarantino makes that misconception too. Like, he says, "I love the look of these kung fu movies. How the blacks are faded, the colors are
yeah,
faded."
yeah,
Well, that's because he was watching a third generation copy, because the distributor didn't have money to make a new negative, so they just
yeah,
ran off a copy of a copy. Listen, I used to do that in the day, because I worked for a company that did all the Ed Wood movies, and they were just making copies off of copies. So no wonder
yeah, yeah,
every time you lose, it's like a fax machine, or you're a Xerox, right? Remember, you use Xerox, if it's
yeah,
Xerox, if
yeah,
it's, that's exactly what you're doing with the film print. So, like, people like Nosferatu never look like that. People are
yeah,
saying, "Oh, I love how it's grainy and it's all dark and you can't see the faces." Well, that's because it's a seventh generation master. Because Lucy, not Harker, not Harker. Who wrote Dracula?
Bram Stoker? Bram Stoker?
Yeah, Stoker. Yeah. Stoker's estate sued Nosferatu, so they had to destroy the negative after the premiere of Nosferatu. So
Yeah.
so the negative was destroyed the moment it premiered.
Yeah.
So,
No,
but there was a movie called like Naja. There's this guy named oh, what's the guy's name who did Naja? I forgot his Almereda. Almereda, I believe is yeah. Was that Michael Almereda? Yeah. And he was going for that Nosferatu look, but he was going after the copy of a copy of a
Copy of
copy look.
copy
Yeah,
look.
yeah,
It's like
yeah. So and I hate it when people add scratches and stuff because movies didn't really they now today it's synonymous with like a 70s movie when you see scratches. But no, when you saw a movie at the theater to premiere, it was not scratched.
interesting.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Was the brainstorm?
I mean,
Was the
35 is
brain?
certainly a look, but it's a subtle look, which I don't think people get. Like I definitely see what you're saying, but there's a subtleness when you do it right that I guess you can want, but yeah,
well, it's just basically an existential question. Do I want to be close and intimate to the actual art of film? And the closest you will ever get is by touching the film. You can't touch digital. You can touch film. You can load it in the camera. You can tear it. You can eat it. You can lick it. I've done that.
I'm sure.
uh, you can have that intimacy that you don't get. You have to be more disciplined because it's only 10 minutes per reel. Okay. At the time you had to print which takes you wanted, so you can only print one or two takes, even though you shot 20. So you have to know which ones you wanted to print, and you had to do you had to pre-plan ahead how you were going to cut it. So there's a good discipline. Now, do I think half the reasons to shoot film are still there? No, because now with digital and shooting full frame and Super 35 sensors, you can use these Russian lenses that everyone loves. You can use the Star Wars lens, which I want to use, the Panavision lens.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like you can do all this stuff. So
yeah.
so I love it. If I had an extra 100 grand to shoot 35, would I? Yeah, of course. But I've shot 35 already on 3 movies. So I've been there. I've been the lucky one. So
It's
Yeah, my God, it would be nice to shoot one movie in 35 millimeter once, just as a.
well,
I
well,
sometimes imagine there's a school of filmmaking that says give yourself a restriction. Say you can't do this. You can't. You have to use natural light. You have to use tungsten lights, or
right.
you have to use actors who you found off the street, or any number of things. That's a school of filmmaking, and I respect that school of filmmaking. But
Well, I
you can
mean,
only
I
do so
mean,
you can
I
only
mean,
do
I mean,
so
I,
many
I
into
mean,
before you don't.
what if we try to like first of all, okay, a movie would run on your movies would run about let's say 6 reels or 7 reels in 35 millimeter.
Yeah,
Well, what if I got you like 8 reels and you basically just shoot it? So like you're shooting in order, so one take each, and then so you'll shoot your close up, then you'll move the camera, shoot the reverse, then go back to the close up again, like you're shooting in camera the edit. Then you'd have an 80-minute movie, and it actually could be done within our budgets.
I mean when I first started out, I was shooting on tape. I mean, my first movie was on tape, like when they used tape, and you could do that. That's
Like
true.
mini DV. Yeah,
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 mini
tape it could
DV.
be yeah, mini
You can
DV.
certainly do
Yeah,
that in
yeah.
mini DV. I don't think, and I'm
Yes,
not sure you can
yes.
buy mini DV anymore, but
Well, you can't you can kind of do it with film, but it requires some digital post. But you can do it. But the reason why you can't do it is because every time you press the start on the camera, it gives you a flash frame, as you know.
yeah.
So in other words, every time you press to switch shots, you're getting a flash frame. So I don't know. I wonder if
I mean,
someone's up for this too.
one thing I've always wanted to do is to do a movie in one take. I think that would be an interesting challenge.
Yeah, but
One
that's
scene.
not even a goal anyway. I don't know like why it's been done. You got Birdman and well, I mean, if you're talking about like the idea of a feeling of one take, that could work. Like like
I
I
mean,
mean like
people have done it in one take. It's not.
yeah.
You can get a camera with enough memory in it that it can do it. I
Well,
don't
that
know. See,
movie,
that scene always
the
seemed like fun.
there's that a movie called Russian Ark. It's one
Yeah,
take. I believe it's 90 minutes and it hops time periods in one take.
yeah.
you know. But then there's also the reverse side where the movie Rope by Hitchcock feels like it's one take, but it's really 8. But he wanted to be one take, but the magazine of film wasn't 80 minutes. It wasn't long
There
enough.
was a movie about 10 years ago called Victoria, It was a German movie. That was one take.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
it's an interesting idea of a movie more than an actual movie. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Also,
listen. These days, you can do anything you want. There's
Yeah.
YouTube. It costs nothing to make a movie. You know, I am doing a one take movie, but I'm doing a one take feeling where basically we're following Christopher Warren, and he's got to get to the orchestra, so we're following them. But then bad guys go after them. His ex-wife is trying to collect money from him. People are trying to jeopardize him. He's trying to crash the stock market. He's on the phone constantly. Gangs are after him. There's all in one take leading up to getting to the orchestra where he's got to play one note.
That movie sounds fun. You should do that. That sounds like a fun idea. Like,
Yeah, but it's good, but because it's a feeling of one take, it's complicated because it's going to be like several operators. Like someone like the second camera's got to be hiding in the alley, so I will go follow in, and then that camera then takes over for me till I can hop around to the next location. So you see, what I'm saying like we're hopping around or handing off cameras continually. Like even if I'm operating, I'm jumping through the window, capturing the subject, then I'll hand off that camera to someone else, and then they will roll and then run after that person. And you if you get what I'm saying.
yeah, I
So
get what you're saying.
yeah.
I guess one of the things is most people who said let's do it in one take have gone of the idea let's make it the most complicated shot in the history of the world. You could do a one take, just the way my idea for a one take movie is just two people walking around Magic Mountain having a conversation.
Well, you mean like okay, that we call that before sunrise or before
That would
sunset.
The thing is, the reason I don't like Before Sunrise, to be honest with you, I think because I think a trick that people go too often in movies is they have their characters be smart. In some ways, smart characters are almost a crutch because you can let them say as many poetic things as you want. My idea is they're more like they're two dumb teenagers.
No, I mean, but I don't know what that means because if you're going to say dumb characters, because obviously natural writing reflects what you write as a person. So you're
Yeah.
saying that he's automatically dumb, or are you just saying he's writing dialogue that doesn't fit because it sounds too smart for those actors to say, for those characters? Like, is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
like
Like these characters wouldn't go into prose about Klaus Kinski, right? What's the one
yeah,
who's
yeah,
he's reading the Klaus Kinski book before sunrise, right? Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So he's like, did you read this? Like, yeah. Today you'd never find a kid reading that.
Well, I'm sure you do. You could. I mean, you could. But that's the thing. It becomes more about what the director is. Once you have a smart character, it becomes an extension of the writer or the director. You're kind of like becoming an avatar.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think that's the most intelligent thing. That's the most interesting thing you can do with film sometimes. Like to go back to Baby Cat, no one in Baby Cat is particularly smart. And I do like that about that movie to a certain extent. Like there is the I think I'm a fairly intelligent person, but you don't need to project intelligence on your character. You don't need to make Shakespeare. You don't need to make Shakespeare is wasn't trying to seem smart to a certain
Yeah,
extent.
but I mean, the problem is that smart is relative, and your definition is totally different than what I say. Like, for
Yeah.
example, I would say the Fawn character is smart because she has a great structure on how she's setting up that whole complex. That's
Yes.
smart to me. No, but it's not like I'm smart to you is just because they can quote Shakespeare. Like, that's not smart to me.
Yeah. Well,
No,
I think
no,
that's
no, I
sometimes
mean,
how people.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're saying intellectual, we're getting there. We're
You're
getting
right.
there.
You're right. That's a
We're
fair point.
getting
That's
there.
a fair.
But you can't
You have
say
a fair point.
smart. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So.
You actually, you in that sense, in that sense, you're right. In that sense, you do have a good point. The Baby Cat is about a character who is very self-actualized. She set up a really nice life for herself, and she's living it.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly, exactly. I mean, she's so smart that she's able to maneuver the universe because it's always moving around her when the door opens, right?
Which was very dumb of me. But the beauty of that movie is it kind of works for it, which is
Yeah. You know what's amazing that movie was only made about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
yeah,
Since then, do you know, like if you had made Baby Cat today, it would not have had the rawness which everyone loves. It would not have the unpolishedness, whatever that people. It would not have the crudity of life that because everything is so polished, just turning on the computer polishes your movie today. So it would not nearly have come close to that, I think. So it came in at the right time, the end of an era, the start of a new one before AI took over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is, it's,
Yeah.
it's the last of its, you could safely say it's the last of its breed, before you start
Yeah.
seeing these
Which makes me
crappy
sad sometimes. It's not a
yeah.
movie. It's a movie that's about queerness to a certain extent, but the queerness, I don't know. When I think about this movie, is you couldn't make this in today's Trump. It's about being queer, but not being particularly afraid of that. There's no, but it's still being stupid about it.
Yeah, it's unapologetic. I mean, I don't like to put a label on things. Like it doesn't I never consider that it's an LGBT movie. Now, obviously for marketing, when people ask who's the demographics, and so
Oh yeah, that
forth.
movie is incredibly queer. But yeah, yeah, but fair.
You know what I mean? Like I just think the performances are natural. I'm not saying I'm watching a lesbian movie. You know what I'm saying when I'm watching it? I'm not saying like I don't label it like that. So
Yeah, fair.
it's sort of like a Three's Company. I'm watching Three's Company, and
Well, it's that. I mean, that's the really inspiration of that movie. It's a movie that's trying to be a TV sitcom.
it's I'm watching Three's Company meets Austin Powers
Yeah,
or Casino Royale, right?
yeah.
So
Did Before Sunrise star Ethan Hawke?
Ethan Hawke, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Long time ago. I mean, that's so long ago, like they're considering 90s classic films now. I don't know who I was talking to the other day, and I said, "Oh yeah, this movie's from like 99." And she was like, "Oh, so it's a classic film then." It's like, my God,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
the heck is going. But then when you think about it, it's relative, like when I actually was seriously watching movies in the 80s, like 85, 86, and if someone told me like something from 1960, like Psycho, 25 years ago, I would say, hey, that is a classic movie. It's black and white. It's an older movie, but I get it. It's all relative. It just I'd never thought that Top Gun would be in the same category as like West Side Story. You know what I
Well,
mean?
like this, it's like a couple years ago, there was that story about where, oh, it's 2017. This is the year of Back to the Future came out. Where's the flying cars? You realize why they picked that year was it's exactly the same amount of distance between 1985 and 1955. Like same amount of
Oh,
time.
okay, okay, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
same
Yeah,
same
yeah,
amount of
yeah,
time has
yeah, yeah.
passed.
That
Like
makes sense. That makes
yeah,
sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. So as the historical documents of film went along from like, you know, now what do we, like relative to time, what is our Gone with the Wind? Like let's say I grew up as a kid, the 70s, 80s, and Gone with the Wind was 40 years old. Like what's the equivalent of the Gone with the Wind now? Titanic?
possibly Ghostbusters. I don't know.
Ghost, but you do not mention Ghostbusters and Gone with the Wind in the same. Don't even, you can't even mention Casablanca. Like what is the Casablanca of our time now, that we could say, Casablanca was like 40 years ago. Like, so what is so 40 years ago puts us at 83, right?
Yeah.
83. Okay, what is it? Our Casablanca's Risky Business?
Yeah. Well, these things don't have to be exactly the same amount of time, but I guess is
Our Casablanca is Octopussy, 83.
sure, why not?
Scarface? Scarface?
What?
Scarface?
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, that's,
Casablanca.
that's
Yeah,
closer.
yeah,
It's
our
closer.
Scarface
There's
is
that
our
I've seen college
Scar,
poster rooms with that door button. Yeah.
Yeah, Scarface is our go. Now, honestly, what it would have to be, I'll tell you this. I bet you on anything, Star Wars is considered our Gone with the Wind,
Oh
like
yeah.
relative to the time. I bet that's what it is. Yeah,
When we think
and
about it that way, I mean, here's Gone of the Wind is a movie about the movie's 30s that's kind of about it's being nostalgic for the Civil War. When we think about it,
yeah,
not if you go back almost the exact yeah, Gone from the Wind from if you had Gone from the Wind today to go when Gone from the Wind came out, that's about the Civil War.
there's no point of yeah. But here's the thing, which
Yeah,
is like it's
yeah,
so freaky because we think of the Civil War so far past. When Gone with the Wind came out,
yeah,
the average moviegoer had family that lived through the Civil War.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just so beyond belief the way time flies like that.
Eh, but all movies are a period of time. All movies.
Uh, so
Was
so what we're I don't know if you're good at it. We won't play this game, but I just typically ask people. So we were because I get obsessed with like facts and minutia and stuff like that to the point that it becomes unnecessary. But we were talking about name a movie or we were talking about movies where the end credits end credits of a movie, which people don't even watch anymore, has a famous song, but that song was not written for the movie. And it only appears at the end credits. And I'll start you off. Short Time with Dabney Coleman. The end credits song is The Row with a Baby by Steve Winwood.
I'll be honest with you, Greg. I have never heard of that movie before.
Okay, Shoot the Moon with Albert Finney and Diane Keaton. The end credit song is I Can't Tell You Why by the Eagles. Okay, so you don't like this game, huh?
No, I,
Warren,
I, I like this game. I'm just trying to think about the answer to this question.
Warren, you name one. Oh, Clueless, Tenderness. Yeah, and Clueless, the song Tenderness.
Valley Girl.
You so
I'll
like,
stop
and
the
what
water
that
melt.
what doesn't count would be like Mannequin. Nothing's gonna stop us now because that was written for Mannequin, even though it only appears at the end credits of Mannequin. So that doesn't count. It's gotta be a song that was written, and then like you could say like Pretty Woman, right? But that's too easy. Like Pretty Woman, the end title song is Pretty Woman. Yeah.
Uh, Say Da for Bikini Hackers, which apparently
Okay.
which apparently I looked up. It's looked like it was a decently big song in Europe for a second.
Well, but you know what I mean. Come
Yeah, I
on,
know.
Warren, Given, you have to contribute. Go ahead, Warren.
Valley Girl. Not with you from a rock band called Modern English.
What's the song?
I'll stop the water and melt with you.
Oh, that which movie is that?
Valley Girl.
Oh, Valley Girl. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
no, that plays.
Oh,
No, that does
oh,
play in
okay,
the movie.
okay.
That plays that there for briefly, but that plays.
And then you were talking about the Warriors, right?
Oh yes, the song by the Eagles. Yes, yes.
Right. So that's and then yeah. So and then what else did we say? I don't remember. So, but the point why I came up with this idea is that people don't even watch end credits anymore. So there's no more emphasis on getting a famous track for the end of a movie because people don't even care. Like used to be people stay listen to the music, say, "Hey, what's that song at the end?" They see the credits. They don't even care. And on
Yeah.
TV, it's nearly 100% they remove the end credits now, which is shameful. Because a lot of the people, especially the crew, go unnoticed. Like the first
Yeah.
ADs, the gaffers, they go unnoticed.
Yeah.
So that was my point why I brought up this end credit idea. When and also music composers were stars then too, like John Barry, John Williams had their own, Ennio Morricone had got
Well,
their own LP
well,
soundtrack
when did
release.
end credits really become a thing? Like I know in like in the up to like the '60s, you have those really long, elaborate opening credits, and essentially no
Right,
end
right,
credits.
right, right. I think that was more derived from the theater. It was like, here's our
Yeah.
cast. Now you start is like like a play, like here's our cast. Okay, thank you. And so it'd be abbreviated, and sometimes it would just be the end, or it would just be just the cast.
Yeah.
Then yeah, so then I would say then it really became a thing probably mid '60s.
Yeah.
But even like if you sound of music, it just says the end.
Yeah. It's like
Well, I mean, it has the credits, but it doesn't have like it doesn't like so that's why even when you see like French Connection, all the gaffer, all the AD, all that's up front.
yeah.
Um,
Like
you know, cr-
if you watch the James Bond movies these days, they have these very long credits, which they do list the gaffer.
yeah,
If you actually watch, if you don't just watch the naked bikini girls, you'll see the gaffer right next to that.
yeah, and so like what I want to do, and it's sort of been done before on a Bond movie, and I've done it before unsuccessfully on Backfire, but I actually want to have like the credits sequence be a part of the story. Like in like
Yeah,
Die Another Day, he's getting tortured and abused by at the beginning of the movie during the credits, and the story continues through that. So then you're forced to watch the credits. You can go longer credits because they're opening because you're watching part of the movie, So that was my idea. On Backfire, I did it like TV, where they're just flashing names, like like
Yeah,
in last week's episode here, a director, a series showrunner. I did it too quick.
yeah,
But I just feel like some credit, we're losing the art of it. Like people don't appreciate the cinematographer anymore. They don't appreciate the editor.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? There's no appreciation for anything, and now it's becoming this. I mean, I get it. It's becoming more of an auteur thing out of by default, because there's no money, so you have to edit yourself anyway. You have to
yeah,
DP. You have to, you have to market. You got to be your own distributor.
Right.
It's
yeah,
insane. It's nuts.
yeah.
As a result, it's like we're all Rolling Stones. We're not. I feel like we're not. Someone's gaining momentum on someone's held back, someone's trying to catch up, and there's very little. It's not like, like I was looking at Coppola, like I was studying like Star Wars, and Coppola was partnered with Lucas, and they said, hey, what about this Godard movie? Did you see this Kurosawa movie? Oh, I like what you did in the conversation. And there was a whole group, like John Milius, the screenwriter
Yeah,
who wrote Apocalypse Now, Deer Hunter. No,
yeah,
what did John Lewis write? Yeah, I'm blanking. Anyway, well, John, yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, but there was this group that they were building together, and now like everyone's doing their own thing, and like you say you're doing vertical, I'm saying I don't like vertical, and like so.
Well, yeah, yeah. It's like I know it feels like yeah, but you can learn a lot from it. You can learn a lot from everyone. I think sometimes watching different movies is interesting. I don't know. I mean, I like watching different movies is watching movies of the day is interesting sometimes. You watch a lot of movies from the 70s, things like this. These are good movies. These are definitely good movies. But sometimes I just like watching YouTube and things like that. You can learn a lot from like how people are actually making movies today, as opposed to like making content today to an extent. That
Yeah,
can be
yeah,
interesting too.
yeah. I mean, I seek stories. I seek movies out for stories I want to know about or listen or know more about. I don't seek it like, oh, is this shot gonna excite me? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well, I will say this about you, Greg. One thing I do like about you is you really are a formalist. You like 35 millimeter. You like edit. You like the art of editing. You like there's a very formalist quality to your work.
Yeah, but don't forget, I'm a different generation. See, I'm that
Yeah,
in
yeah,
between. Like I worked in 35 millimeter, and
yeah,
I had to adjust to various forms of digital, to mini DV, to Betacam,
yeah,
Digibeta, then to ultimately, now what we have. Yeah, and I love the technical elements of it, and being able to tell a story. But I'm saying, like, like if I was going to look up something now I wanted to go see, I'd probably want to take a look at like Silver Streak.
yeah.
Like I'd want to see that, like, and not for inspiration. I just want to see it.
I mean, yeah, true enough. Yeah, true enough. But I think like did you ever say like Skinamarink? That was from like two
I don't
years
know
ago.
what that is. I don't know what that
That's
is.
interesting. Beautiful
Now
little
you you
horror
you
movie.
you
Just
you grew up in New York. You grew up in Colorado, or where'd you grow up?
Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. So then, okay, well then, there's no excuse for you. You grew up with the Z Channel, which I did in On TV and Select TV. I don't know if you remember those, but they showed all the independent films, all the foreign films.
Yeah.
They were the first to show the restored version of Once Upon a Time in America. Um, a wealth of stuff.
I remember I honestly saw most of those movies on VHS when I was a kid.
Okay, so they saw the edited version of Once Upon a Time in the West, in America. Yeah. Okay.
Honestly, I don't think I saw the restored. I think I saw the restored version. At some point, I saw the restored version.
Yeah.
But I saw. That's my. I didn't actually watch the Z channel. I never really watched the Z channel.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
I used to watch the video.
Well, they're just not teaching it anymore. They're just not teaching it classical cinema. Which is okay at this point. I'd rather have a cinema class than no cinema class. Just do it, like, yeah, at least they're getting funding for it still.
There,
But
they're still teaching it. I mean, I've some experience in cinema.
yeah.
Like, is it?
But my feeling is like nobody's gonna get inspired necessarily by what they're told. Like if the teacher says, hey, you have to go see Citizen Kane because it's gonna teach you about photography. No one wants that. They want to discover like Solaris on their own. You know what I mean? Then they say, I found it, it's mine, I'm inspired by it, than saying my professor said I should see Solaris. It's a little
Well,
different.
I'll tell you which. question, Greg. Which filmmaker really inspired Baby Cat? That really inspired Baby Cat. There's an answer to that one.
Is this a oh, so it's not a trick question?
Not a trick question.
Woody Allen.
Actually, that's exactly it.
Okay.
Woody Allen really inspired. One of the things is I read a book about Woody Allen's filmmaking. It, I've saw a lot of his movies, but one thing I really was appreciated about Woody Allen is how much he just uses one shot. There's not a lot of coverage in a Woody Allen movie. Most of the scenes are actually fairly long. Most of the shots are fairly long and they're fairly well composed, so to speak.
Well,
And
I mean, that's not his doing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I agree, but I disagree. Like, if you see like husbands and wives, that's all handheld,
yeah,
and
well,
it's
fair enough.
shaky. It's shaky, and there's jump cuts throughout. Uh, um, but he picks a cinematographer. He trusts them, and they go along with it. He's not a very visual director. He's about the script and the performances. So
I know. I'll push back on that. I do think he is a visual director. I do think in Woody Allen there is something that is very interested in just the human face and how it's reacting and how we can get from one human face to another human face. I mean, one
Well,
of the
then,
things I did a
yeah,
lot.
but I mean, but my point is that he's trusting the photographer to do
Yeah.
that.
Oh
So,
yeah,
like in
yeah,
the case, so he has Gordon Willis shoot four of his movies, Starters, Memories, Manhattan, Annie Hall. I forget the fourth one. And Gordon is a very he's very a natural. He's like Ansel Adams. He likes to see landscapes, so he
yeah,
doesn't move the camera that much. He shot The
yeah,
Godfather. That the camera doesn't really move in The Godfather.
yeah.
So he shot Manhattan, which arguably is Woody's best film. I don't think it is. I think Stardust Memories is, but people like Annie Hall or Manhattan, that comes up a lot. And then he leaves Gordon Willis and he goes to, I think, Carlo De Palma. Then he goes to Sven Nykvist, who was Ingmar Bergman's
Yeah,
deep cinematographer, which tells you that's a direct inspiration from Bergman for
yeah,
Woody's, which makes sense for Woody
yeah.
because so. Um, yeah, well then I got that right. I would have said Woody Allen or who did that who's the director of these quick the what do you call it, the Hangover guy. Sorry, I'm sorry, Hangover guy, I don't know your name.
Judd Apatow, Judd Apatow.
Okay.
But I guess my movies are very written stuff. But I guess I just like to see human faces. I like one of the things people say is, "Oh, you move the camera a lot digitally in my films," because to a certain extent I just don't like cutting.
Yeah.
I like to have the relatively long shots that just kind of flow between actors or in the shot because you get to see their reaction, their how they look, talk to each other, how they
Oh,
react.
I love that. There'd be nothing more for me as a disciplined filmmaker to do a 4-minute shot with that. I guess they call it mise en scène. It's like planning, like
Yeah,
what happens when the shot, and you can. It's like a painting. You can say, I see the fruit in the background." And yeah, I like that people have a choice of what they can choose what to see, whether rather than being handed it to them. But the problem is that very well we're making movies for thumbnail form on a phone, and what you have here as an iPhone or Droid is not what people have in Africa or in India. They have smaller flip phones they're watching
yeah.
movies on. So you think they're going to appreciate your wide shot? They're going to say, "I can't see it."
Well, that's what I do. I mean, that's if you watch my movies a lot, is what I do is I'll take a wide shot and shrink it the fuck down,
Yeah,
and then I can move it around digitally. I mean, I think the phrase I like doing is I like dancing in film.
yeah.
I hate choreography. I don't
No, you
like.
want to you want a wide canvas to work with, and so like yeah, I
I
mean,
like
but
a wide canvas and shrink it down to a certain extent.
yeah, and like what sorry, people keep texting me. Um and so and what you know very well these days, what you could do is that you could just shoot it in 8K.
Yeah,
Never move the camera,
yeah.
and just have it there, shoot 8K, and you can do what you want. You can do extremes, close up, you could do a wide, and that's easy. That's how you do it. It's
I believe there's a camera on the market. I think the Canon has a market that is 16K.
yeah, well, good good
I'd love to get my
good
head on that.
good luck booting your computer to
Yeah,
run
yeah.
that
I know you're
to
absolutely
run
right. You're
that.
absolutely right. But I would love to work in 8K. It just can't do that. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably
Okay,
that produces problems by itself.
even 6K gives you three times the
Yeah.
the magnification that you need. But then at some point, what does that do for the art of filmmaking? Filmmakers like to be close to a camera. They know it's a close up. The actors need to be close. They know it's a close up. They feel the intimacy. When you're shooting wide and they don't know it's a close up, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't know that it could be close,
Yeah,
but later, what is their performance going to be like? And then the audio, it's great to be able to go close up with the boom right over their head if you know it's a tight shot. But now
yeah,
if you're going to go wide because you think you're going to go close, then their sound's
yeah.
off. But you deal with that. You deal with your 6K full frame movie.
I don't know. My favorite shot I've ever done is there's a scene in Baby Cat where the camera turns between a two shot and singles and two shot and singles a
Hmm.
couple of times, and I just really just like how it becomes a very intimate shot, and I really genuinely, and I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate digital camera's ability to do that because you can't do that in film.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the flexibility is great. Like I'm so disabled, I can't really operate the regular cameras that we have anymore because it's
Yeah,
just too cumbersome. They're too heavy. So just the lighter weight apparatuses, even the new iPhone, which shoots ProRes, by the way,
yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure it does.
and the little handheld rig I've got from Smart Rig, it's great. Like I can shoot any movie I want when I want it. It's just perfect. It goes import straight into Premiere or Final Cut.
Yeah.
And then there's sound now that's greater. It's Bluetooth, Wi-Fi sound goes straight in. So people like me are able to do it now. Whereas like if I wanted to shoot something and I actively can't operate my own camera, 'cause it's too heavy, I'm too weak. I need to bring in like 4 people on set just to do
Yeah.
that. And even the lights are smaller, so I need to have you moving these clunky stands, which I still don't know why they still have clunky stands on the set. Like, is anybody shooting with arc? People are really shooting with arcs still, arc lights, and
Um,
are they still doing those huge Kino flows and the
I see what
$10Ks?
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. You've got your point. It's
Yeah.
like it's what's there's a meme out there of two superheroes looking at an airplane going, see how much work they have to do to mimic one half of our power. And I sometimes feel that way about like an iPhone. You can put it. I for Blue Belt. There's a couple of scenes in Blue Belt where I just put a Android on like one of those handheld gimbals,
Yeah, yeah,
and it produces really smooth, interesting results.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
just like it looks good.
Well, I'm for mixed. I'm for mixed media.
Yeah,
For sure. Like the for no regrets. Since the scale, so here we have 200 people in one scene, a dozen cameras. Some we're just gonna break because they're like $90 cameras. We'll smash them. We'll have them flying on rigs going, and they're
yeah.
not. You don't like smashing things, huh? Okay.
I don't mind. I don't mind smashing things. That sounds like fun. That sounds like fun. I remember. Yeah,
Um, but I think it's good to like if you're going to be a director, it's really good that you have either a writing background or you really have like a visual background.
yeah,
Like, some of the greatest filmmakers are visual artists.
yeah,
They come from animation.
yeah.
You know how to light, so that's great. So it's not like an actor saying, "Let me direct." Nothing
Mm,
bad about actors, but you know what I mean. So at least you saying, "I want to direct" is a different. There's a realistic path to get there because you could say, "Well, this is how I light. I have the minimal semblance of how a camera works or the lenses." So, and then if you mess up, a lot of it
I'm
corrects it for
honestly,
you.
I'm honestly surprised. Relatively few directors come from like crew. I mean, occasionally a DP will become a director. A couple of
Yeah,
art people have over the years, but most people go out of film school, right, and they start directing. Like they've never
yeah.
they've been on maybe a couple of sets, but how many sets have they been on? Like it's being on.
Well, we're still in that hierarchy system where you never really get out beyond like the lighting department.
Yeah,
You don't there used to be certain systems like Hitchcock in England. You would emerge from like being a PA, then to AD first, then to being like a co-producer or line. Like there is no opportunity to do that unless it's a radical move and you end up doing your stuff on your own, like basically what you're doing. So uh
I mean, I've worked with like probably 200, maybe 150 directors over the years. And I've learned a lot from them. I've learned a lot from the good ones. I have learned more from the bad ones. Like you can
right,
learn a lot just by seeing the art of filming every day and seeing what they're doing and seeing what they're
right,
not doing. And
right.
Right.
yeah,
And half of it is psychological. You
yeah,
could literally show up with with no camera, no card. But if you're the happiest guy ever and you're saying it's gonna be good, everybody will believe you. A lot, they'll trust you. So a lot of it is it's a psychological thing that you have to approach on all different levels. The
Yeah,
talent, the crew, everybody, the financiers if you have
yeah.
them, so I just think that I wouldn't say it's even beyond democracy now, democratic the process of filmmaking. You could just go out, you could put a movie
Oh
on
yeah.
tomorrow. You could put a movie on tomorrow and shoot it to, uh, which is great. But are people recognizing that and willing and are they adapting properly? Because I still hear things like, "Oh, I want a theatrical release," and I'm sorry, I realize you want it, but it's what I'm saying. Like, I hear these stories,
It's
so
very easy to make a movie. It's very easy to make a movie. It's exactly the same, exactly as hard as it used to be to make market one, which is
right,
which is like which is why I don't think AI is entirely going to catch on. You
right,
can make an AI movie for like $10,000 probably, or even
right,
that looks like good,
less,
but looks
less, yeah,
but it'll still if you want to make that movie the next Star Wars, you still have to spend $100 million to market it. And
yeah, yeah.
do you want to spend that much money on an AI movie?
Well, I think like 90% of the filmmakers that are there, and especially the ones we come across, have only made one or two movies, and I don't really believe you really anyone can get the art of filmmaking, and by that I mean actually making the film, but knowing what goes around it, like the
Yeah,
marketing, making the poster, the trailer, the
yeah,
marketing, getting your ad revenue, trying to throw it on ads, trying to get these clicks, trying to do these
yeah,
keywords. I don't think people get that, and then they realize, oh my god, and I sense a lot of laziness from filmmakers. They just think like automatically that it's on Amazon means they're making money, and I don't know who gave them that idea. Because
yeah,
if that were the case, the president would have his own line of stuff on on Amazon. He'd have his own lipstick. I doubt that would sell though, but
yeah, exactly. Like,
yeah, but you get my point. And so it's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of filmmakers, knowing that it's not what you think it is. It's not. I know it took you 10 years to make the movie, but now we're in a different time. There's no more theatrical, there's no more cable, there's no more DVD. I was getting this talk early on last year, like, oh, I don't want my movie on YouTube. I don't want to know. That's just YouTube. That's terrible. And ultimately, now if you see everything, YouTube is becoming the thing. It's
yeah,
becoming the leading platform where people can watch indie movies
hmm,
because all the TVs are carrying YouTube now as the
yeah,
button on the remote in Roku,
yeah,
and so you can tell what's going to happen once you're on a million, 10 million TVs, 20 million TVs, boom, you got it built in,
yeah.
so, and nobody would listen about the YouTube, and now it's the thing. Now they're saying, oh, can I get onto YouTube? Can I get onto YouTube? So,
Well, see, that's easy to do. The problem is you still have to market it. Like, it's still,
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
you're still kind of hoping against hope that you're going to get that
Yes,
people
but
would
you have
care.
to want it. But there's still the majority of people thinking, can I get a Blu-ray release? Can I play these festivals? And like, so,
Yeah, like I
I don't want to
remember, I
wait.
remember, I don't want to badmouth anyone, but I remember Shane was telling
And
Shane
Ryan.
Reed, he was saying, "Wow, my movie has a bigger Blu-ray sales than like Sydney Sweeney movie. Like it was she did a demon movie, and
Okay, okay.
that sounds impressive. That really means, oh God, that movie's not doing good on Blu-ray."
Yeah. He actually is a tweener generation also because he comes from when DVD
Yeah,
was
yeah,
success. His first movies, which I put out, were very successful. So
yeah,
he has that. He misses that time. He's got to emerge. He was the first to say streaming would kill us, which it has. It has.
yeah,
I mean, it hasn't completely killed us, but because you're always going to find ways to reinvent yourself. But
yeah,
um, it's the mentality.
yeah.
So go into music or paint or
Well,
whatever.
I'm okay if Baby Cat never gets Blu-ray. No, then again, maybe you never. Then again, you never know. You never know.
Well, we are experimenting a little here and there, but I mean, it's really like a fine color. I would say it's not even like LPs because LPs at least is a very clear mainstream market for
Yeah,
LPs. But it's like this is like okay. Well, first of all, they're making LP players still. Okay, they are
yeah,
not making Blu-ray players anymore. They're not making DVD players
Right.
anymore. So there's a big difference between
Well,
them.
the other thing about that is like a Blu-ray is a record, an LP is a lossless product. An LP sounds remarkably different.
Yes.
A Blu-ray does not. A Blu-ray is not 35 millimeter in your home. It's still, essentially doing the same thing streaming it. It's just
Yes.
different
Yes.
format. It's still just different format. You can touch in your hands, but it's still a
No,
lot
like I
smaller.
said, it's an existential thing. I think people want to hold something.
Yeah.
I enjoyed holding something that I made, before. Like, I enjoyed touching the film negatives. I enjoyed them going through my hands, and by the way, my finger, you have no idea how many times it's been sliced by the splicer. Do you know what
Oh,
that's like? It is horrible because
Yeah.
I couldn't afford the expensive $2,000 splicer, so it was the one with it. They call it a guillotine blade, which
Oh,
that's
that,
well
that,
so
that
and
is
so
that is turning the stuff. That is turning the old
well
stomach.
here's the thing. I used to edit trailers for my own company on 35 millimeter because and the theaters and the sooner you get the trailer, the sooner they could. That was only for promoting. There was no social media, right?
Yeah.
There was advertising, but you had to pay 5 grand for a
Yeah.
small ad. So I had to rush and get these trailers out, and each trailer had trailers only had like 20 shots or 30 shots at that time, by the way.
Yeah.
And it was like boom, oh, there's the guillotine and blood and like oh.
Uh, I I'm glad I'm not. I've burned my fingers so many times. It hurt. I don't remember.
So-
But
but
yeah.
but it was a lesson in pain that I'm not going to regret. I surely do that again to learn more about film and touch film, like I even got to blow up film like nitrate film from the 40s. It
Yeah.
was very volatile, so in the alleyway my high school buddy and I at the movie company we worked at, we'd light nitrated blow up. And, have you seen nitrate go on fire? Like you light it and it tricks you. it
Yeah. I
start
think I've
it
seen it
start
before.
it starts to simmer, it starts to go on fire, it lights, it goes slow, and then without warning it goes huge and it goes straight to the sky, this pillow of I was like, oh my god. So, yeah,
I do get that tactile feeling. There's a joy to that. There's a joy to making movies, which I think is why you do it probably. Because
right.
if honestly if you wanted to make money, you probably should invest in real estate.
Well, I mean, anything listen, we're not in the movie business to
Yeah.
to really see,
Yeah. Yeah.
sorry, I'm
You
just
want to
I'm
make
just
money in a movie, invest in something that don't. Yeah.
was the
okay.
was the was the Brainstorm movie based on anything, or does it have a new story?
The what? Who
The
are you talking?
Br- Brainstorm movie starring Natalie Wood, was that based
Oh,
on anything?
we're back to brainstorm. No, 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 no. I think we talked about that on the last show, didn't we? No, no, no. I mean, it was basically, yeah. I mean, it was meant to be this technically innovative thing where basically when you're going through these, they're not even dream sequences; they're realities, recording your life experience on digital tapes. So, if someone has a heart attack, you put the Oculus on and you feel like you're having a heart attack. If someone gets stabbed, you feel stabbed. So what Doug Trumbull, the director who did the effects on 2001, what he did was he said like the screen's going to wide, we're shooting in 60 frames, 70 millimeter, and we're going in like multi-channel surround sound, so it's immersive that you're in this dream world. And then when you go out of this dream world into the regular world with the drama sequences, that's mono, and it's like a 166 more
Huh.
yeah, so that was the intended way, but then he got shot down on the 60 frames, so he couldn't do that, and now YouTube is showing you completely wrong. I mean,
I
it's
think I
like,
saw that movie on. I think I saw that movie on TV. So
well, it's
probably the
on
edit
YouTube.
squares edits.
It's on YouTube now for free officially,
Yeah.
but whoever was in charge had no idea what I just told you, and the dream scenes they're skinny stick figures now. That's not the way. That's not how you. It's not
Yeah.
meant to be like that. So yeah. So
So Brainstorm was not based on a book or anything. Was it a new like a
I
new
don't know. I
story?
mean, yeah. I mean, you seem to know more about it than I do. So
Yeah.
It's got a great James Horner score. Natalie died during the making of the movie. That's a whole scandal in itself. I think you know, I love Christopher Walken's performance. It's a film I hadn't seen for a while, maybe 20 years. I revisited it again recently, and I liked the film. I'd like to see more of it. You know, you know, it is a movie that pioneers certain things. It just didn't work. Just failed on. It wasn't the right time. That's all.
Okay.
Huh.
Well, Scotty, you should shoot 70 millimeter.
I'd like to
Okay,
try that. I
Scott,
mean,
just okay. So we're going to go back to this. You're gonna get one right. Name a movie where the end credits has a famous song, but that song was not written for the movie. Warren, you could start offering too. Where's my notes? Warren, you don't know any
Die
either?
Hard. Die Hard, like for the song Let It Snow, right?
Yeah, but that's more of a folk. That's a Christmas song. Okay, trains, planes, and automobiles.
planes, trains, and
Every time you go away, you take a piece of me. But it's a cover. It's not the original. What's his name? Young, that guy. So
Paul Young.
yeah.
Paul Young. It's not. Yeah. Warren, you must know. Come on, choose one. You guys can't leave. Choose one. Pick one. Warren.
Um,
Come on, you guys.
oh,
I
come
thought
on,
we're in the
I'm
movie.
thinking.
Are we in the movie biz? Okay, Miami Blues, Spirit in the Sky. That's
Sure,
the end title.
never saw that movie. I always wanted.
You could cheat. I mean, not cheat, but you could go the easy way and say like Goodfellas and say Layla, right? You
Ah,
could, but that's too easy. That's too easy. I want something that's more like, that you wouldn't know. And then I was questioning that I didn't have time to look it up, but 1989's Bond movie License to Kill has the Patti LaBelle version of "If You Asked Me to," which Celine Dion did a cover of, and that's in a Bond movie, by the way, and people don't know that.
yes.
And I think it was written for the Bond movie, so it doesn't count with what I'm saying. Okay, well,
What
that
was?
was
I feel like I'm testing my knowledge of '80s comedies. Um,
yeah. You can't, at some I might open it up and
I,
just ask people just give me any movie that has a famous song in the end credits.
I mean, the one I keep thinking about in my head is Storybook Story from Princess Bride, but that was written for the movie.
Yeah,
It just
that
never
was,
played. It just never
yeah,
played for
yeah.
that.
Okay, like another one. Serial. Well, no, this isn't. This is not accurate, but I'll still say it. Serial Mom, the John Waters movie. It has
Yeah,
Barry Manilow's "Daybreak" as the end credits, but it's also performed in the middle of the movie another time, so that doesn't count.
yeah. That's what I think about. I think most movies I can think about, they do that. They'll play a famous. They'll get a famous score, play it sometimes, and then play it even for like a couple of seconds, and then just do it. Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, like for example, people don't know like the Drowning Pool with Paul Newman, "Killing Me Softly" with his song. That's from that movie.
yeah.
Instrumental. That's in that movie, so people don't realize that. Oh, it came from that. Like yeah. So, well, I guess we
Oh,
lose
wait a
on
second. No,
that.
wait a second. Here's one. It's a Dead Man's Party. Back to School.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Yeah, it's Dead Man's. That's yeah, Back to School. Because I always think about because I remember seeing the music video which that features footage from that movie as well as
Oh,
very elaborate. So Rodney Dangerfield is one of the seminal goth rock pieces of the night.
okay. You get a point, Warren. You're losing today. Come on, you're good at the music. This is part of
The
your show
Warriors.
too. Yeah,
The
pick
Warriors.
up. Yes, just pick, yeah.
The Warriors.
We already said that. You got to pick another one.
Top Gun.
No, because Danger Zone. It's not Danger Zone. Isn't it
Oh,
Mighty
no.
Wings? I think it's Mighty Wings. That was written for Top Gun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. The audience is getting bored by this. We just like three
Yeah, I'm
guys like
gonna. I don't
rambling.
know. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry about that.
Okay.
It's
Well,
always fun. It's always fun talking to you, Greg. You're a
good, good,
wealth of
good,
movie knowledge.
good to catch up,
Maybe
and
going forever, but I do appreciate that.
we'll see. We'll see. We'll see you on set.
See you on set. I hope to
Yeah,
work with
see
you
you
again
on set.
soon.
Cheers.
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 Bye.
Bye.